Welcome, everybody, to another episode of our Wide Right Natty Lite betting show. I'm Levi Stevenson, joined by Jacob England, Austin Keeney, and a new guest of ours, Matt Nelson, filling in for Matthias Schwarzkopf. How's it going, everybody?
Good.
Good. Austin, how's dad life?
This is my break from a screaming infant for the next 20 minutes.
So dad life's really great for the next 15 or 20 minutes.
Yeah. You can say it's going all right.
There you go. All right, so go ahead.
I was just going to ask Keeney if that the last 12 minutes of that game last night were a screaming infant or if they were different animals.
He couldn't believe it when I told him we lost when he woke up. I was like, he looked me in the face. He's like, are you shitting me? They lost?
You just shit me? I just shit my pants. All right. All right, well, let's get right into it. Obviously, we were all not feeling it. Neither was Iowa State this past weekend with losses to Missouri and Texas Tech in truly excruciating fashion. But we've got two games coming up this week. Kansas at home on Saturday. Ken Pom currently has us as a 1-point favorite over the Jayhawks at home. Jacob, what do you think?
I don't even know how to begin this.
It'd be a 133 over under.
I think I'm going to take the over on it, and I don't want to be that guy, but I think we're going to win it just because of what has happened. I mean, I could just have jinxed everything and everything could go to shit, but I just, after, two losses in a row like that, I would think that Iowa State coming back home and having Hilton Coliseum, I think it's going to be a high-scoring, really impactful game for them to get back on course. But that's just me.
Yep. Austin.
I think you're crazy if you bet on Iowa State. I'm sorry. I got to be the one to say
I got to be honest, man. I'm kind of in Keeney's boat here.
I've seen Kansas win this exact game for like 15 years in a row. So I kind of look at this just like I did them going to Kentucky on Saturday. It's going to be a close spread. Kansas on the road. I think the most value is on Kansas. Now, Iowa State could absolutely prove me wrong. I think we're still a little bit shell-shocked from what happened in Lubbock, and I think the betting value is on Kansas.
Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, the betting value probably is on Kansas. Kenny, I agree. We've seen them come in and win this game before, but I'm going to say back Iowa State. My guess is they're going to look a little desperate. We've seen them play poorly on the road and be able to come back and string a nice home game together and put in a good effort. They'll be a good crowd. That's just what you've got to bank on. But you're probably right. If you're smart, money's probably got to be on Kansas, but I never said I was smart money.
Here's my caveat. If Jazz Coons plays, then I get it.
So this is where I was going to go with mine is like if Jazz Coons is ready to go and he's full speed, I can see taking Iowa State here, and if Jazz Coons is going, I'm also taking them. I'm taking the under on if it's anything under like 130, I'm probably taking the under. I really think Jazz Coons gives Iowa State a much better option on defense than Bob Jones, which I assume Jazz will eat Bob Jones minutes. And that is a plus defensively and offensively for Iowa State either way, but it's a much bigger plus defensively. I think this is a chance Iowa State's going to muddy this game up quite a bit, especially if Jazz Kuntz is ready to go. I'll take Iowa State to cover the 1 point.
Yeah, and I guess my logic with Iowa State, Keeney and gentlemen on this show. Now Kansas will be getting some rest, no doubt. I mean, Tuesday through Saturday, but I think you can kind of throw everything else out. If you're looking for what the concern is, it's not don't let the fact that they blew the leads get in the way of keeping your attention off of why they blew the leads, which is pressure. Ball pressure, full court pressure, the half court trap, not handling the ball. I think there was a little fatigue at play on Saturday or on Monday as well. I think when you get tired, it's easy to make mistakes. Lipsy and Kalsher and Holmes play a lot of minutes. So I think A, you get some rest, but B, I don't know that Kansas has the bodies to pressure all game long. Tech can throw bodies at you. Missouri threw bodies at you. Oklahoma State can throw bodies at you. Kansas is really comfortable with 4 of their 5 starters and like 1 guy off the bench. And I just don't know that they can press Iowa State for 40 minutes in Hilton like Tech did, even for 5 minutes as hard as they did last night. I just don't see that. I know obviously they have good players, but that's clearly what gets Iowa State into trouble. And I think KU is going to absolutely run themselves out of the gym if they try to pressure the whole game, because I just don't know that Bill wants to play those guys off the bench.
Right. All right, so let's move on to next Wednesday is West Virginia on the road in Morgantown. Currently, Ken Palm has us at a 3-point underdog with should be a 137 over under. Or 130.
Jacob's shaking his head. I don't like that look, Jacob.
No, I don't like this game at all. I mean,
136. Yeah. What do you? So yeah, elaborate.
Well, let's just go back in history. Every time we're on a away game and you're going against West Virginia, who is known for full court pressure in itself, I just don't have a very good feeling whatsoever in this game. Especially, they need to prove themselves on the road. I'm going to take the under, and I'm going to take West Virginia on this one, unfortunately.
Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, so when you said 3-point dog, this is a difficult one for me to pick because I totally agree with that logic. I know traveling over there is not always necessarily the easiest. Here's where I'm at on West Virginia. I don't know if many of you have watched them much this year. They're a weird team. Nothing looks smooth. I'm not sure they play together all that well. And I don't really know where the offense comes from for this West Virginia team. I think they've got kind of some odd pieces. And it seems to me like a chance, Iowa State has a chance to D them up in that game and deny them anything but bad looks. And if they can do that, I'm just not sure that West Virginia can score enough. That they really kind of at times have struggled with that. Now, say the same thing. You could say the same thing about Texas Tech, right? They obviously found enough offense to get back in that game, but we also turned it over 12 times in the second half. So if you can, I think those two things go in tandem. Iowa State, if they can take care of the ball, they can certainly win that game, because I just don't know that West Virginia is very dynamic. But so I feel okay, but I guess Keeney, this is probably where you're going to say it. Until you see them win a road game, I don't know. I don't know who you pick here. I tend to lean towards Iowa State to cover the 3, but I'm not sure they win outright.
3 points is tight. That's just a super tight
corner of the screen. I had to move over to a new spot.
Elaborate. West Virginia. Yeah. West Virginia.
I don't know if I can trust Iowa State on the road. I think it really does come down to that. Although West Virginia, and I swear this has happened a couple times this year, they're an atrocious free throw shooting team. So there's probably a scenario where Iowa State is down by 4 and West Virginia can't make free throws and we make a shot at the buzzer to cover. So I would take West Virginia, but I would not put a lot of money on it. I probably won't bet the game myself.
Well, my theory on this is that if assuming Jazz is healthy and he's taking Bob Jones minutes, the 38% free throw shooter or whatever he is, Jazz is a much better free throw shooter than that. He's not like super automatic knockdown, but he's a lot better than 38%. And if you're replacing that, both teams are known for fouling a shitload. But that game's going to have 45 fouls. It's going to be insane. That game genuinely may have 50 fouls called. It'll be awful.
Do you think they break the pressure differently if Jazz is in that game last night?
Yes, because Jazz is much more composed with the ball in his hands than most people on this team.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I was pretty surprised with how poorly Taman handled the pressure. I thought he would be much better. I'm not really sure what spooked him exactly, but he just was not. I don't know. Something wasn't quite there.
Like you said, Matt, they were probably really tired, the fatigue. You'd think that Kuntz would come in and actually, provide another body where they can start subbing a little bit more. That could help in the Big 12 play even more. So, yeah, I mean, going back to that, if Jazz does come in, then that would be great.
And if you want to nitpick, like why Watson or King don't get more minutes, I mean, one, I think it's fair, but how are they at breaking pressure? I don't know that we've seen that from them. I don't know that they're super comfortable with either of those players doing that. And two, I mean, the answer is we're just short on guards, right? I mean, we just are. Do you really want to play Oshun, King, Watson, two guards? I just don't know that that's the answer either. It's last night was kind of almost a problem that they don't have an answer for. Jazz can probably help alleviate some of that. He is a much better ball handler. He can probably spell both Jaren and Gabe, and you can make have one of those guards sit. So he will definitely help with that equation. But in games like last night, I think you notice where being down Williams, being down Hunter, and maybe Eli King not playing can affect that, even though I don't think he was a target for minutes going into the season anyway. So the moral of the story is against teams that pressure, we're maybe just short of guard. Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to kind of our national segment. That's the word I'm looking for. Segment. Time slot. I don't know. This is ordinarily we've been using this to kind of mainly talk about the NFL, but obviously the NFL is off this week. Before in the week up, I guess unless you want to count the Pro Bowl, which I'm sure there's probably prop bets for the Pro Bowl, but there's not any outright at the moment. So what do you guys have your eyes on this weekend for just kind of maybe it's NBA, NHL, soccer, football? What do you I don't know if you got Pro Bowl odds or whatever it is. What do you guys got your eye on, Austin?
I actually am looking at the Super Bowl. I'm sure we're going to talk about props and everything pretty heavily next week. But one that sticks out to me that I think is we're talking about right now is MVP of the game, because they do have odds up for it. So I think this really comes down to who you think is going to win the game. Because I think if Kansas City wins the Super Bowl, Pat Mahomes is the MVP of the Super Bowl 100 times out of 100. Does not matter. If Philly wins, if you think Philly wins the Super Bowl,
Jalen Hurts
is not a guarantee to win MVP. So
correct.
I'm looking at like Hassan Reddick at 30-1. If he has like 2 sacks and a forced fumble,
he's been
an option.
He's been a monster.
Yeah, I mean, he was the MVP of the NFC Championship game by getting Brock Purdy injured. So I'm looking at something like that, some long odds on some props. I think there's some value to look at right now.
Maybe consider Miles Sanders. Keeney, where's he at? I don't know if you have it up in front of you.
I think if it's not a quarterback, it's going to be a defensive player.
It's going to be a defensive player.
Is 25-1, but I look at like Reddick at 30-1 and I see value.
Yeah. Yeah, they play 3 running backs, so maybe that's probably a risky proposition.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice.
Jacob, where are you at?
I went to the Super Bowl as well, but I'm looking at the touchdown score, and you could make some really good money in Travis Kelce. If it ain't the first touchdown score, he would be or the first half of the touchdown, he'd be in the second half because he always seems to have a touchdown somewhere, and their odds are plus 750 and plus 700 for first half and second half, and even not, you can go like, I believe that you could make some good money off of it for a touchdown off of there. I think that, that'd be almost a guarantee at that point.
For sure. So I'm looking at the Super Bowl too, and you guys kind of took some slightly more conventional stuff. I've made it well clear I'm a sucker for a good parlay. And I'm looking at some of these. If you're on DRF, they have these pre-packs in there. Just kind of prepackaged parlays in here. There's some really interesting ones that I'd be very tempted on. At plus 295, you can get the Eagles minus 1.5 and a point and a half, and AJ Brown as a touchdown scorer. There's one down here. There's a couple down here that are some big money ones here that I actually really like. If you're a fan of the Chiefs and you think the Chiefs are going to win, money line the Chiefs money line, total points over 49.5, and Travis Kelce is a touchdown scorer. 3-part parlay there gets you plus 510.
Ooh.
That's a big number for if you think the Chiefs are going to win. they're probably going to score a bunch of points, and Travis Kelce's probably going to score a touchdown. If you like the Chiefs in this game, plus 510 is a very good number for those three things to happen. Because it seems like those three things would have to happen if for at least one of them definitely does, but you think two of those probably have to happen for the Chiefs to win this game. So at plus 510, if you're feeling saucy for a parlay, that's a good one there. You can even go further down the list in some of these really big money ones, and you can find some there that feel like they can happen. Like if you look at here at plus 800, you can get the Chiefs plus 1.5 and Pat Mahomes to hit 349.5 passing yards. Eagles have a good defense, but Pat Mahomes is gonna have to chuck it. And if you like the Chiefs and you think they're gonna be chucking it around, take the Chiefs to cover 1.5, and you take Pat Mahomes at 350 passing yards, and you get plus 800 on that value. Some interesting parlays there. That if you like the Chiefs in this game, there's some good ones there to put a few dollars down on that you're probably going to hit if they win, type of thing. So it's a good one to keep an eye on there. So let's move on to our kind of what we're actually putting money on this weekend. All right, Matt, what are you putting money on this weekend?
What am I putting money on this weekend?
So actually, we should go through this. So now we're in our beds. So last week we got to catch up. So last week, my Bengals minus 6.5 obviously did not hit. Austin did hit his parlay of KC plus 7 and over 41.5. And Jacob hit his McCaffrey having more rushing yards than Miles Sanders. Both hit. So I'm still in the lead at 157. Jacob's at 155. Austin's at 147. Matthias at a lowly 29 after dumping his on Iowa State every single week. So Matt being the first time on, first episode for him, he is going to start at his clean 100. Matt, what are you putting money on and how much?
Oh man. Probably going to swing for the fences, right? See if I can't pick a parlay with some Big 10 some Big 12 winners. So I'm just going to take some teams outright. I'll take.
You're putting together a parlay?
Yes.
Okay. We'll have to figure out some odds for you when those come out. So what we'll do is when these come out, when the final odds do come out, put together that parlay and send me what the odds are for your parlay.
That I can do. Okay, so first one, Oklahoma State. If I can get, depending what the number is, TCU's coming to town. Miles is hurt. They're playing a little bit better of late, and TCU can sometimes look really bizarre, and that's kind of how that game strikes me. Also, Baylor at home against Texas Tech. I may throw them in as money line, but I might take. I'm assuming that point spread. I could look up and see where KenPom would have it. I'm assuming it's going to be between like 4 and 7, maybe 5.5. I'm guessing with Tech getting a win, and there were people watching that game. It was on ESPN too. That there's going to be a little bit more public money that comes in on Texas Tech than maybe normal, just because of that momentum. But telling you, if you have not been watching Baylor, I know what they lost to Texas last night, but they've been playing really, really well. I'd expect them to rebound at home. And then just to get spicy, throw Iowa State money line in there. So Iowa State money line, I think Oklahoma State plus whatever the number will be, and then I'll take Baylor. I'm guessing that's going to be like minus 4.5 or 5. I will throw those in and get you the odds.
How much you putting on it?
Boy, there's a couple of those are maybe risky. Let's do let's do 10 units. Why not?
Okay. Jacob.
Well then, I think I'm going to actually go to Kansas State because they've been playing extremely well, except for tonight. They are absolutely behind. But I'm actually going to have, which the over-under is at 141. Against Texas on Saturday, I am going to have Kansas to win outright.
Mm.
So you're taking Kansas to win outright on Saturday.
Kansas State, excuse me.
K-State,
okay.
K-State,
so you're taking K-State money line on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm taking K-State money line. I think that they have enough manpower to.
How much are you putting on that?
I'm gonna put 30 down.
Nice. All right. So on Saturday when those odds come out, make sure you send those to me. We're just gonna have to get Austin later at some point. Mine for this weekend. So since there's no football, I'm not doing hockey. None of that. We are going to the English Premier League for my pick this week. People may or may not know this. Well, you guys would. Nobody watching this would know. But I am a big Chelsea fan. However, Chelsea this year is poopy. They're not very good. They're right in the middle. They're sitting at 10th in the Premier League. They play Fulham this weekend. Fulham is ordinarily not that good, but they are sitting 7th in the Premier League currently, sitting 7th in the table. They typically have been playing a bunch of high-scoring games, like they're 32 goals for, 30 against, compared to Chelsea's 22 for and 21 against. So Fulham's a much better scoring team. They've got the momentum right now. Right now, you can get Fulham on the money line for plus 480. I really like that here because Chelsea's kind of in a backslide right now. They got a big signing today, but he's not going to be ready to go for this weekend. So I'm going to take Fulham on the money line here. And if I was feeling truly gutsy, which I kind of am, if I can, you can on DRF, you can take specific scores for each one. If you predict a 2-1 Fulham victory, that is a plus 1,700. I'm not going to jump quite so far in as to pick that very specific one, but I am going to take Fulham on the money line at plus 480. And I'm going to throw 20 units down on that.
The old happiness hedge, a tale as old as time, a time-honored tradition.
So Fulham on the money line, plus 480. And I'm going to put 20 down on that. There's some good return on that and without too much downside. Because like I said, Chelsea's on a backslide right now. Fulham's got momentum as a smaller club that's playing in the top end there. They've got stuff going for them. They've got scoring. Chelsea does not right now, and that's a huge problem for them going forward. So let's see. We'll try one more time for Austin. We'll see where he's at. He might as well be on the moon. All right. So
all right. I legitimately cannot even hear when you're asking me for anything.
And your words and your videos off. This is bonkers, man. All right, so I'll get your bet. I'll get your bet after the show, and then we'll leave Austin there just for fun. We will. Okay, so he's got it in his private chat here. So he's taking Tyler Reddick plus 1,400 to win the NASCAR race this weekend.
Ooh.
All right. That's fun. That's spicy.
NASCAR.
I like it. All right, so everybody, thank you for watching this episode. Obviously, all of our odds for this weekend and for all of our bets come from DRF Sportsbook. You can go on right now if you don't have a DRF account already. You can go sign up, use code WRNL1000 when you check out to receive a 100% deposit match up to $1,000, a minimum of $100. So if you jump in, get your account created, you can get a bunch of free money to play with. Definitely recommend it. Good thing Matthias isn't here. I would definitely never recommend you put money on whatever Matthias picks because he is way down in our betting game. But you know, you got a little bit of money there. You could throw a couple dollars here on some of these big parlays we've been these Super Bowl props and stuff like that we've been throwing around, and really amp that number up. So you can use code WRNL1000 at checkout. All right, when you create your account, 100% deposit match up to $1,000 with a minimum of $100. It's a great value there. It's a good place to get started. They've got lots of DRF has a location down at the casino down in Osceola. It's a nice place. Good people are down there. It's nice to have a good local sports book too. They do a good job of kind of putting some really interesting parlays out there. Like I said, they've got those packaged ones, prepackaged ones. That we were talking about earlier. When it comes back around to college football season, they'll have very specific game props for Iowa and Iowa State football games all throughout the year. They really want to focus in on Iowa and being able to give the people of Iowa some really interesting things to gamble on. So we're really happy to partner with them too. So definitely keep an eye on them. It's worth signing up, even if you've already got an account in a couple other places or something like that. It's worth starting one up at DRF too, especially because of that the sign up bonus there, but obviously, and then like I said, also they've got a lot of really interesting ones. Like we had our own custom Wide Right Natty Lite prop that went up like a few weeks ago. It was a Brock Purdy player prop that went up. We can get stuff like that, and we have that power, is that we can request. We have
the power.
We do. We can request specific props and whatever else if we want to get those. So maybe we'll have to come up with a good one for the Super Bowl and see if we can get a fun player prop or a prepackaged parlay put together that we like, something like that. That'd be fun. So anyways, like I said, DRF's a great place to gamble if you're into that kind of thing, which I'm assuming you are if you're watching this. So everybody, thank you for joining in. Austin from the Moon, Jacob England, and Matt Nelson for his first time on the show. Everybody, hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you guys again next week.